Good evening, students. Today I'm going to continue with Act 3, Scene 2 with the lines 151 onwards where I had stopped yesterday. So this is my third video, and maybe I will be recording two videos to complete Act 3, Scene 2. So let me proceed now. We had discussed in our last video that Bassanio had chosen the right casket and was too happy, was giddy with happiness, and was unable to believe his good luck. So this is from where we will be continuing. He asks for Portia's approval. So Portia says, "You see me, Lord Bassanio, where I stand, such as I am." So this is a longish speech, and it is an important speech because it talks about Portia, and it gives us some information about Portia as a person and her upbringing, etc. So she confirms first of all that yes, he has actually won the contest of the caskets, and that he has chosen correctly, and therefore the happenings are true. So to make him realize that, he says that she in reality is standing over here where I stand, such as I am. That means in actual reality she is standing here before him. Then she talks about how she wishes to improve herself for him. So she says, though for myself alone I would not be ambitious in my wish to wish myself much better. So she says she is happy with the way she is, but just to make her lord Bassanio be happier, she would like to improve herself, not for her own self. She does not desire to be any better. She does not desire anything more from life. She is already a rich woman, a rich heiress, but for Bassanio, she would like to be better. So she says, yet for you, that is for him, I would be trebled 20 times myself. She wishes that she is trebled, of course, 3 times, and 20 times, that means she wishes that her condition and herself should improve by 60 times just for Bassanio. 1,000 times more fair. She wishes to be much more beautiful than she already is. 10,000 times more rich, that only to stand high in your account. So she wishes all this so that he would assess her as someone even better than she is. She wishes to be richer, she wishes to be more beautiful, only for Bassanio's happiness. I might in virtues, beauties, livings, friends exceed account. So she wishes that she would be worth much more in terms of her beauty, in terms of her fortune, so that he loves her even more. She wishes to be even more valuable to him in all these accounts, in livings, in terms of friends, in terms of money, in terms of her beauty. But the full sum of me is sum of something. So she says that right now I'm just a person who may not be very valuable, in the sense which to term in gross, that is in totality, is an unlessoned girl. So now she's going on to talk about her own condition, and it shows that women in those times were denied a lot of things that men were given. So we see the gender discrimination over here. She says that if Bassanio will assess, analyze, try to gauge her value in totality, in gross, then who is she, or how will she turn out to be? Is an unlessoned girl. She's talking about herself. Unlessoned means she has no training in anything. Unschooled, unpracticed, happy in this. She is not yet so old, but she may learn. So she has openly declared that she has not been educated. She has never been to school, yet she has a will to learn. She is willing to learn, and she is not very old. She is still young. She has the time to learn. She is willing. She has the desire to learn. Happier than this, she is not bred so dull, but she can learn. Then the second thing she says is that she is glad that she has been brought up in such a manner that she is bright, she is intelligent, and therefore she is not dull. She has the aptitude, has the capacity to learn more, gain more knowledge, if that is possible. Happiest of all that is that her gentle spirit commits itself to yours to be directed as from her lord, her governor, her king. So she says the happiest news for herself and for him is that she has a very accommodating heart and spirit. And from now onwards, now that he has won her through the contest of caskets as a bride, very soon they will be married. So she is completely committing herself in body and soul and in spirit to her, to Bassanio, to him. And that is why she addresses him as her governor. That is, she will take every direction from him, every every order that he gives, she will follow. Her king, she will treat him like a king. Myself and what is mine to you and yours. So she will treat him like a lord, a governor, a king. She is completely under his subordination. These were times, these were Elizabethan times when women had to consider their husbands as masters in totality, and that is why, out of her love, this is how she's expressing herself to myself and what is mine to you and yours is now converted. So because he is going to take her as his bride, therefore everything that she owns, whatever has been bequeathed to her, whatever she is heiress of, will now be owned by him also. So she's a rich heiress. Her father has left her a rich fortune, and all that will now also belong to Bassanio. But now I was the lord of this fair mansion, master of my servants, queen over myself, and even now, but now, this house, these servants, and the same myself are yours, my lord. So she says everything for which she had claimed ownership now belongs to him. Up till now, she was the sole owner of this mansion, of this palace. She was the owner of, she was the lady to all these servants. She was the queen over myself. That means whatever she decided to do, she was the only one responsible for making her own decisions. But from now on, she is handing it all over. Her riches, her duties, her responsibilities, her complete dedication to her husband. But now this house, these servants, and the same myself, and you are yours, my lord. So everything dutifully and lovingly she is handing over to Bassanio. I give them with this ring, which when you part from, lose or give away, let it presage the ruin of your love. So she is giving him the promise that everything she owns will now also be owned by him. Along with that, as a sort of a token, she gives him a ring, and she says that the ring is like a confirmation of this promise, that everything that is hers is his also. But she expects something from him, a certain kind of loyalty from him in return. So she says that she is giving him this ring, and he is not supposed to give this ring away or to lose it in carelessness. That is not allowed. Let it if that happens, then the love between them will be totally spoiled, and be my vantage to exclaim on you. So she says, if you are ever careless with this ring, and if you ever part with this ring, then that will be a chance for her to blame him, to accuse him. So, because that is something that he must hold very precious. So with that, she has handed over everything that she was mistress of to him. So this is a long speech, which is a very important speech by Portia. Portia, it reveals her character. It shows that she has been brought up in the true Elizabethan style, and she is very sophisticated. She is very polished. She knows that she has to promise complete dedication and love and loyalty to her husband, and she has done it. She has proved it by giving up everything that is hers to her husband, and in return she is only wanting him to protect the ring that she is giving him. So it is an indication of her upbringing and of the kind of woman that she is. A little introduction about her education, about her bringing up, about her growing up, etc. So it's a long speech by Portia to Bassanio. He is the listener, she is the speaker, and there are others also present while she is speaking. Now Bassanio cannot believe his luck. He is so happy and feeling so blessed. So this is what he is saying. Madam, you have bereft me of all words. Only my blood speaks to you in my veins. So he says he's so overcome with gratitude that he is not finding any words, the correct words, the suitable words to reply to her long and beautiful speech. So he says, I'm bereft of words. I'm at a loss for words. This is something that happens when you're completely overcome by emotion. So he's saying that he has no words to describe how he's feeling or to give an adequate reply to him. Only his blood, that is his entire self, wants to commit himself to her. So he says, only my blood can speak to you. The blood in his veins is talking. So he's saying that he has no correct response in the form of words. And she has given such a beautiful speech that he comments about that. And there is such confusion in my powers, as after some oration fairly spoke by a beloved prince, there doth appear among the buzzing pleased multitude. So he says, my mind is spinning. He's so overcome by these strong feelings that he says, I'm all confused. I do not find the right words to respond to you. So he says, there is such confusion in my powers. I do not know how to express myself. It is as if he compares Portia's speech to the speech of a very well-trained speaker, a prince. And when that speaker has finished his speech, the effect of that speech on the audience is that the audience is not able to completely grasp themselves. They feel lost and they cannot respond in the right way. They only talk in buzzing sounds, and the whole multitude, that is the whole group, feels confused, and there is only a kind of buzzing sound, a kind of murmuring sound of the audience, just to express their admiration, of this beautiful speech. So similar is his case. So he compares himself to the buzzing pleased multitude, to a group of people who has just heard a beautiful speech from a trained orator, from a very well spoken prince, where every something being blent together turns to a wild of nothing, save of joy expressed and not expressed. So he says that all his feelings, he has very beautiful feelings after hearing this speech, but all his feelings have got combined together. Therefore there is a confusion inside him. He is not finding the right words to express his joy, to express his thankfulness, to express his gratitude, and therefore he is expressing, yet he is not able to completely express or articulately express or express in the best way how he is feeling. So that is why he says expressed and not expressed. So he is not finding the right expression to tell how happy he is. Then he talks about the ring, and he says, but when this ring parts from this finger, then parts life from hence, oh then be bold to say Bassanio is dead. So he says, I'm so overwhelmed by all the things that you have said to me, in the way you have expressed your total commitment to me, that I am not finding the right words. I am all confused. All the feelings inside me are all perplexed and bewildered. But there is just one thing that I can say, that he is promising with all his heart that he will never lose the ring. If he ever parts from the ring, then that will be the last day of his life. And he says, then that day you will get the news, you will find out that Bassanio is dead if this ring is gone. So that is the extent to which the depth of his promise will convey, that he will always protect this ring. So that is now Bassanio's speech in response to Portia's speech. After this, there are these companions who also further give some good news. And these companions are Portia's maid Nerissa and Bassanio's friend Graziano. They have also been impressed by each other, and they have also decided to get married. And this is the right time, a very lucky time, favorable time, when they also want to announce their choice of each other. So Nerissa moves forward and says, my lord and lady, it is now our time that have stood by and seen our wishes prosper, to cry good joy, my lord and lady. So she is wishing him, she is wishing both of them a lot of happiness. She says, now it is our turn to congratulate you. So she is wishing them joy and happiness, both to the lord and lady. Graziano, who is Bassanio's friend, also wishes him. So he says, my lord Bassanio and my gentle lady, I wish you all the joy that you can wish. for I am sure you can wish none from me. So he says, I am already wishing so much more happiness to you that your wishes will be less than my wishes. I wish all the happiness of the world to you. So he says, for I am sure you can wish none from me. So he says, my wishes are more heartfelt than even yours for you. And when your honors mean to solemnize the bargain of your faith, I do beseech you, even at that time, I may be married too. So now he breaks the news that now that Bassanio has won Portia's hand, they will obviously be very soon solemnizing their marriage. That is also the time when he wishes to tie the knot with his lady love. This is the announcement, the small announcement that he is also making. So Bassanio is very pleasantly shocked. With all my heart, so thou canst get a wife. So Bassanio says that of course you can also get married, but you also need to find a woman for that. He does not know that who Graziano has chosen for marriage. So Graziano then breaks the news. I thank your lordship, you have got me one. So he says, you have been instrumental in finding me a wife too. My eyes, my lord, can look as swift as yours. You saw the mistress, I beheld the maid. So he says, I am also very keen, very sharp in my eyesight. So just as you chose the mistress, that is, you chose Portia, I chose her maid. That is, my eyes fell on Nerissa and I was very impressed by her. So I have chosen her as my wife. You loved, I loved. For intermission no more pertains to me, my lord, than you. So he says now their intermission means a break, a period of gap. So he says now there is no reason for a break. There is no reason why we should delay our marriages. There is no reason for you and there is no reason for me, either of us, to delay our marriages now. We are both in love. Your fortune stood upon the caskets there, and so did mine too, as the matter falls. So he explains that of course Bassanio's good luck, good fortune depended, and his luck in love depended on whether he will be able to choose the right casket or not. That was Bassanio's luck with Portia, but he says the same was the case with myself also. If you won Portia, then only would I win my lady love. So my love also depended on the caskets. So he explains this to him. For wooing here until I sweat again, for swearing till my very roof was dry, with oaths of love at last, if promise last, I got a promise of this fair one here, to have her love, provided that your fortune achieved her mistress. So he says he tried very hard, he tried all that lovers use, all the tricks that lovers use, all the beautiful promises that lovers made, he also made to Nerissa, and he made so many promises till his throat, till the roof, that is the top of his throat, was dry. So many beautiful promises he had made to his lady love, but he was able to get a favorable response, a positive response, a promise from Nerissa that and if he can depend on that promise still, if that promise is still worthwhile, then she had promised that she will give herself to him, agree to his proposal, only if Bassanio wins Portia. I got a promise of this fair one here. This fair one here is Nerissa, to have her love, that means she will agree to marry me, only provided that your fortune achieved her mistress, only if you win the contest of the caskets. So he has won the correct casket, he has chosen correctly, so now their love has also blossomed. So Portia is also very happy to know that her companion and her gentlewoman Nerissa has also been able to get a bridegroom. So she confirms the news from Nerissa. Is this true, Nerissa? And Nerissa says, Madam, it is, so you stand pleased with all. But Nerissa, of course, is very respectful and very loyal to her mistress, so she says it is true. But she will confirm it only if Portia is willing to give her permission, if she is fine with the whole, with this arrangement. So she says, you stand pleased with all. Only if you are pleased, then I will go ahead with this marriage. So Bassanio also confirms with his friend, and do you, Graziano, mean good faith? Graziano, yes, faith, my lord. Our feast shall be much honored in your marriage. So, but who comes here? Lorenzo and his infidel. What? And my old Venetian friend Celerio. Enter Lorenzo, Jessica, and Celario. So so the matter of the marriages is settled over here. Bassanio confirms if he's serious, if Graziano is serious to get married to Nerissa, and Graziano says that he has very noble intentions of getting married to Nerissa. So Bassanio says he's very happy that the other marriage will also be solemnized when he gets married to Portia. Then there is the entrance of some other characters. These are their friends, Lorenzo and Celerio, who are their friends from Venice. They are all belonging to Venice, and he sees that they are entering. Graziano sees that Lorenzo and Celerio, his Venetian friend, is coming here to Portia's house. And along with Lorenzo, there is Jessica, and he calls Jessica and his infidel. Now, who is Jessica? Some of you may be familiar. If you are not, Jessica is the daughter of Shylock, and she has eloped with Lorenzo, because Lorenzo and Jessica are in love, but Jessica is not a Christian. Because she is not a Christian, so here she is addressed as an infidel, as someone who is not belonging to their religion, to Christianity. So they all enter together, and Bassanio talks to them and says what is the reason for their coming. Lorenzo and Celerio, welcome hither. So he welcomes them first. Hither means here. If that the youth of my new interest here have power to bid you welcome. So he says, by your leave, I bid my very friends and countrymen, sweet Portia, welcome. So he says, the youth of my new interest. Youth is the young period, the new period of life. So he is comparing youth to his new victory. Just as youth is something that is new, that is sparkling, so his victory over Portia, over winning her in marriage, is new. So he is appealing to that right, that he has now won Portia in marriage. That is a victory that he is proud of. By virtue of that victory, he is welcoming his friends into her house, but then in a very well-mannered way, he asks for Portia's formal permission also, that he can welcome his friends to her house. So she says, by your leave, that is by your permission, I bid my friends and countrymen, that is my friends who also belong to Venice, who are his friends, who are also his companions. So he welcomes them to her house. So Portia, of course, is very delighted. She also extends a warm welcome. So she says, so do I, my lord. They are entirely welcome. Then Lorenzo clarifies, says, I thank your honor. For my part, my lord, my purpose was not to have seen you here, but meeting with Celerio by the way, he did entreat me past all saying nay to come with him along. So Lorenzo clarifies. First, he thanks him for the welcome, thanks the lady for the welcome, but he says that he had never intended to visit Bassanio in Portia's house. But by the way, accidentally, he met his friend Celerio on the road somewhere, and Celerio, with a lot of pressure, entreated, that is, pressurized him, requested him to accompany Celerio to Bassanio's house. That is the reason that he has come here with Celerio. Even though he had refused, he said, I did not want to come. I said, all saying nay. Nay means no. He says, I refused. I did not want to come and disturb you here, but he greatly pressurized me. That is the reason why I have accompanied Celerio. So Celerio agrees. He says, yes. He says, I did, my lord, and I have reason for it. Signor Antonio commends him to you. Gives Bassanio a letter. So Celerio says, yes, it is right. He is the one who has pressurized, who has coerced Lorenzo from accompanying him, that is Celerio, to Bassanio. And he says the reason is that I have got some message from his friend Antonio, the rich merchant Antonio, has sent a message to Bassanio which he has come to convey. And saying this, he hands over a letter to Bassanio. So Bassanio begins to read the letter. So, but he says, ere I ope his letter, I pray you tell me how my good friend doth. So Bassanio says, yes, I will read the letter, but ere means before, E-R-E, ere means before. Before I open the letter, I would like to inquire whether he is doing well, he is in good spirits, is he well? So Celerio gives an answer which is not very satisfactory. Salerio says, "Not sick, my lord, unless it be in mind." So he says he's healthy. It is not that he's unwell, he's healthy, but he's not sick. He's healthy in body, he's not healthy in mind. That is, if you say that he's sick, he's not bodily sick, but mentally he's not very well, in the sense that mentally he's perturbed. Then he says, "Nor well unless in mind. His letter there will show you his estate." So he says in mind also, his mind is not disturbed, in the sense that it is not an abnormal mind, but he's still, his condition is not the same. His condition is not usual, so not well. And he says that when he reads the letter, he says his letter there will show you his estate. He says the letter will make things clearer. So obviously it means that Salerio knows the condition of Antonio, but he does not want to break the news to Bassanio himself. He would rather Bassanio would read the letter. So then Bassanio begins to read the letter, and Graziano says, "Nerissa, cheer yon stranger, bid her welcome. Your hand, Salerio, what's the news from Venice?" So Graziano then urges his lady love, Nerissa, to welcome the other lady who has come, that is to welcome Jessica. And then they shake hands, and he generally asks for news from Venice, because they have been away from Venice. "How doth that royal merchant, good Antonio? I know he will be glad of our success. We are the Jasons, we have won the fleece." So he says, he also inquires about Antonio's health. Graziano inquires and says that, and shares the good news. He refers to the myth of Jason, and there is this story in Greek legend about how Jason won the golden fleece. So it was a very hard contest which he won. Similarly, Bassanio has won the hand of Portia in marriage. So they are like victorious. They are victorious like Jason, like the legendary Jason. So he says that we are now victorious. We have won what we had come to win. So Salerio says, "I would you had won the fleece that he had lost." So a confusing sentence, or a complicated sentence, in which Salerio is saying that yes, you have become victorious, but Salerio wishes that they had won the kind of victory that would take the troubled situation, that would solve out the troubled situation of Antonio. So he refers to the same story of Jason's fleece, the same legend, but says that he wishes that their victory could have helped Antonio's condition in some way. So it is obvious that there is something seriously wrong with Antonio's condition. Portia. Now Portia is listening to the conversation, so she realizes, and she's a very intelligent woman, so she realizes that something serious has happened with Antonio. So she says, "There are some shrewd contents in yon same paper that steals the color from Bassanio's cheek. Some dear friend dead, else nothing in the world could turn so much the constitution of any constant man. What, worse and worse? With leave, Bassanio, I'm half yourself, and I must freely have the half of anything that the same paper brings to you." Now Portia is very carefully and with great concentration looking at her lord, looking at Bassanio. So she is observing that as Bassanio is reading the letter, he is becoming more and more pale. He's looking worried. The expression on his face is changing. So she is noticing that, and she says that the shrewd contents means that unpleasant, very serious contents of the letter are causing, whatever news is contained in the letter is causing Bassanio to change the expression of his face, and he's looking very dull and is looking very concerned, very perplexed. So he says either there is very bad news of a very close friend's death. Only that can change this kind of an expression. Great confusion on his face, and she sees that the expression is worsening. What? Worse and worse, she is noting. So she is saying, "With your permission, Bassanio, now I am going to be your wife. So I am half of you. I am your partner. I have half the right of you in every way. That means I should know all that is happening in your life. I am ready to share all your happiness and your problems." So she says, "Bassanio, I'm half of yourself, and I must freely have the half of anything that this same paper brings. So whatever is the news contained in this paper, please share it with me. If it is a problem, please share it with me. Now I have the right to divide all your problems, to share all your problems. So this is Portia's very keen observation with which she asks Bassanio, seeing as yet he has not told her anything, but just observing the expression, it is a totally changed expression. It is a very perplexed look on his face, troubled look on his face, and she wants to help him. That is why she wants him to share the news that is contained in that letter. So students, I would like to stop over here. I have explained till line 252, and very soon this will follow with another video, and I will be continuing my further explanation to you, which will continue throughout this, which will complete the rest of the explanation of this scene. Thank you very much.